All right, we have an hour to get through a ton of material. So we're going to jump right into it here. So we'll start with just an introduction. Hi, I am Erica Layton Wieland. I am certified teacher with the International School of Multireflexology, Dien Chan. And I have been teaching with them for quite a while and love this facial reflexology stuff. I wasn't so bought into the Chan Bote side of things, coming from more of the healing modality beforehand, but being able to work with this beauty aspect by helping relieve symptoms on the inside has totally got me hooked. So I'm excited. We're going to be talking about the Chan Bote Essentials Kit. This is a 4 tools kit. In our presentation, we're going to talk about the 307, the double mini Yang, the number 308, the double mini Yin. We also have our friendly Comet Detector, named for its look of a comet, which is the 133 multi-reflex tools. And then we have the 416, the amazing Yin Rake that I hear so many compliments about. So you really do have such a heavy hitter kit in here. I do feel like it is the essentials when it comes to Chan Bote. It allows you to do some of our most amazing protocols, as well as it helps you get into some rebalancing formulas if you have your care cards. But the care cards can also help you with a lot of different issues or conditions as well. So we're going to just jump right in and start talking about some of the things that we're going to talk about. So I will have us bring up our lovely presentation here. And so you can get a little bit of imagery. So welcome to the Chan Bote Essentials Kit. All right. And then next, what we have is our skincare routines. So we are going to be talking about the Yang-Yin. I know it's very common for us to reference Yang and Yin by Yin and Yang, but we're going to flip it upside down and we're going to do our Yang-Yin skincare routine, following it up with our balancing routine. And then we're going to end our night by draining. So I've put it in this formula for us to go through, and you're going to get yourself a little facial here. So most of the time I do this routine after I've cleansed my face. So you're going to see that I don't have any makeup on. You can do this routine without cleansing your face first, but I highly recommend doing it on skin without any makeup. So if you've put, product on already, moisturizer, etc., that's totally fine. But I do recommend more of clean skin, so without sort of blush and foundation, etc. If you haven't cleansed your face already and you do want the good and full experience, I highly recommend Let's Cleansing Our Face. So I've just got an easy witch hazel cleanse. It's a great little toner and a great little cleanse. And so we just are going to cleanse our face quickly. So if you haven't, run, grab yourself a little cleanse. We're going to just take 2 seconds here. Oh, nice cleanse. So if you have to rush to the bathroom and cleanse your face nice quickly, go ahead. All right. Okay. So a nice little cleanse and some toner. All right. I'm going to get down my neck here because the neck is super juicy. All right. Good. So if you're watching, I'd love for you to quickly pause and go and give yourself a little cleanse. Takes 2 minutes. All right, beautiful. Before we get started in our skincare routine, I'm going to let out my luscious locks here. No judgment on hair day, right? Because we're all in the privacy of our own homes, so it doesn't matter. Because we're going to start our skincare rituals and routine with our beautiful rake. Now, this might seem like a tool that you can use only on other people, but I highly recommend using it in your skincare routine. Sometimes the look of your face is dependent upon the tension that you carry in your head and your cranial nerves. And it's amazing how much tension we carry through our skull. Plus, especially at the end of the day where we've kind of gotten, our lists filled up, or we've gotten, some stress, or we've just lived a day. So we have some stuff to unload before we go to bed. So we're going to take our nice little rake here, okay, and holding it just nice and gentle. Okay, the idea is that we're going to start right at the hairline and we're going to go all the way back to the base of the skull. Now, if you have curly hair or thick hair and it's a little bit more challenging for you to get through your hair, there are some tricks that we can use to help you get the same benefits and the same feeling. So the idea is that we really want to focus and concentrate on this area, which has some reflexes for the nerves in the gallbladder meridian, which helps calm the body. But we also have reflexes in through here for your arms and your legs. So it helps to get your extremities loosened up. So we're going to focus on the sides. And then we're going to focus really nicely through this part of your head. Okay, so in through here, we have sort of bladder meridian. But if you've taken any of my classes, and if you remember, we actually have the red man in the body here. So by focusing on this area, we are going to take care of our whole entire torso from our head all the way down through our pelvis. Let's get going. So we're going to start at the hairline and we're going to spend just a few minutes here. Okay. So depending on how much time you have to do your spend on your skincare routine, you could definitely start this before before you do anything else. So you could break this up into sections, but it feels amazing. You're going to feel what's comfortable. You want something that makes you relax. You want something that gives you the shivers, okay? We're not looking to cause any tension or any pain, but you definitely want to have a little bit of pressure. We're not brushing our hair, okay? That's for a different tool. So we're not brushing our hair. We definitely want to have contact with the skull through the whole entire time. So we're going to rake the skull. So I'm keeping contact. And I love to even come down the neck. Now, if you have thick hair and it's hard for you to get through all the way to the back in one fell swoop, you can go in little segments and then pick up and go again and pick up, go again. Just, you can go in short, and even if it's really thick hair, go in and just go as far as you can, lift out, go back right in where you were, go back. Okay, right? It's just as pleasant, just as pleasant. Okay, so if you need to, you can kind of pick up and go along the way, especially if you've used hair product at the end of the day and it doesn't go through really smooth. You can pick up and just do little sections. We're just looking to rake the skull and we want to go all the way to the back. How is that feeling? How is it feeling? Coming all the way to the back. And our next section, if you can, using both hands. Okay, you can take little breaks. I love to do this for about 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes for me seems to be like the best number to get the most bang for your buck, especially if you're doing it on someone else, like a kid. Kids love this tool. It is very good for helping them get ready for bedtime. So nice and easy all the way back. This is a preparation. So we're going to get working with the skin. We're going to talk about our horticulture metaphor that we like to use with Chan Bote, and how we can view the skin a little bit differently. And so we're just prepping. Okay, I like to follow through with my hands. Oh, what getting back onto that back portion, so important. All right, let me know how you are feeling. Switching hands. All right, good. Okay, I think that's feeling pretty good. Okay, nice. Do I have to continue? No. All right, so I think I am all done with my raking of the skull. So I'm just going to quickly put up my hair for video purposes, but you definitely don't have to. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to move into our first portion, and it's called our Yang-Yin Harmonics. So with our Yang-Yin Harmonics, we're first, obviously we started with cleansing our face. And this is because we're actually going to nourish and oxygenate all of the skin cells. And we're going to do so without damaging the skin. We're going to get the benefits on our face that equal out to doing a nice cleanse and even using a exfoliant, and the same results if we were using an exfoliant and moisturizing. So you can, especially if you find yourself sensitive to products, you can use this routine and get amazing results with your skin, and you'll be blown away by the results. So we're first going to start by preparing the area quickly by mobilizing the blood and the lymph with our double mini yang roller. And then we're going to follow it up with our good routine using the soft prongs of the yin to distribute the vital fluids of blood and lymph. And you're going to feel so much confidence when you get that boost of glow. Okay, I super promise you're going to touch your skin afterwards and it's going to feel completely different. Okay, so let's start off with our Yang-Yin Harmonics. Okay, so you'll see on the next slide there where we have the arrows that will show you the direction that we're going to go. So this is where we're going to introduce to you the horticulture metaphor of working the skin. So we're going to start by working the land. So we have a garden. Our face is a garden. And the first thing that we do to prepare a garden is we dig deep into the dirt to prepare it and to aerate it, right? We want to get oxygen into it. We want to get all that dead soil that's on the top after winter. We want to get that all moving and shuffling it up. And so we're going to do that by a non-damaging double yang roller. Okay, so we use this to encourage that deep microcirculation of nutrient-rich blood and lymphatic fluid of the epidermis. So this yang tool is going to warm the skin, it's going to tighten the skin, and it's going to strengthen and give improvement to the cellular activity by bringing the fluids from the hypodermis out to the surface. Now, once we've done that and we want to reactivate what's in the lower levels of the skin. We're going to raise them to the top, and now we have to distribute them. So after we've gone in and aerated, which is our double mini yang, we want to spread everything out, right? We want to make the ground smooth and even, and all those things and all the clumps that we've brought up from the deeper layers, we're going to want to spread that out. So we use that with our double yin. And it's like we're raking the soil in the garden to break up lumps and to distribute the rich soil. So we use this to distribute the nutrients throughout the dermis and help us to drain any excess to avoid stagnation in the skin. So it doesn't allow for bacteria to accumulate. And so some people, if they use this routine, you can find that your skin will go through a regeneration process. So give yourself a month or two of this routine, which you can do morning and night. And it will actually really change over your skin. So even where you maybe had sensitivity to products before, now you're going to actually be able to use amazing products. So now we're going to start with our routine. We're going to start with our double mini yang, and I love starting off in the neck. Okay, kind of getting in, this neck area, and really lightly. If this double mini yang hurts you in any way, shape, or form, or feels sharp in any way, please, 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 you're rolling too hard. Okay, so I like to start off in the neck area. And of course, because at the end of the day, I don't know how many practitioners are on here, but make sure you get in on the neck area, helping to relieve some tensions. And I love to go onto the back. This is my favorite. I make sure that I do this if I'm doing a facial on myself. So important for the lymph. So don't forget. Okay, remember. Okay, nice and getting in through the neck. Okay, so you can see there we have an arrow on the neck. Okay. Now, the thing with Chanbote and Dien Chan, what we always talk about is the gestures. It's always like makeup. So we're not going to roll like this. This is no. Okay. We're going to do nice gestures on ourselves. Okay. We want it to look like we're painting. Now, I like getting up right underneath into the lymph here. So get up under the chin and in through all of those lymph nodes. Okay. Yeah. Feeling good. Okay. So we've opened up through lymph nodes. As you can see, I haven't been rolling very much, but I got some color. Okay. That's what we're looking for. So now we're going to get into the bladder area. Okay. It's not so important the direction. Okay. You can go up, you can go side to side, but we're going to stick right in through this chin area. We're going to open up the bladder. We're going to open up the fluids of the body. Now from here, we're going to go up to the ear, and kind of we're doing this little Christmas tree pattern. Okay. So follow me, and we're going to go from the chin up to the ear. And this is taking care of our urinary system. So we're already opening up that area to help us eliminate the lymph, because we know that the lymph actually re-enters the bloodstream, and then we pee out the stuff that we don't need in our bodies. So we're going to open that up by doing this part of the rolling. Then we're going to go all over the lips. This is your small intestine. So please make sure you go on the lips. Okay. All right. Going all over top of the lips. Okay. You've got such amazing reflexes circling the lips. So you can even go, feels so good. Okay. Then coming from the lips, we're going to go up to the hairline here. With your tools, you can definitely go into the hairline. All right. And then we're going to go on to the cheek. Okay. You could even give yourself a little bit of tautness in through the smile line. Okay, and go in an opposite direction. So we're going to cross hatch the areas, okay, that we just worked. Nice and gentle. Nothing should feel sharp or painful at all. Okay, you should get this benefit of the microcirculation just by gently rolling. All right, got some pinkness. So I'm actually going to go to the other side and finish this other side first. So we're going to start from the chin, going up to the bottom of the ear, about 3 times each section. So we've got one more. And then coming to over top of the lips. This is so good for digestion and for elimination, right? Our small intestine does absorption of virtually all our nutrients. Okay, so we want to make sure that we give a lot of love into the small intestine, and we do that by rolling over the lips. Okay, and our large intestine follows around here. Okay, so we want to get into it there. Okay, coming up to our hairline here 3 times, and then we're going to go on to our cheeks. All right. Nice onto our cheeks. This is the bottom of the lungs. So super beneficial for all of our bronchus and bronchi and getting into those deep layers where like really low energy can hit there. So we want to make sure that we get onto those lower trachea bronchi in through the lungs to help us, get rid of anything that might be stuck or stagnant in through there, right? Coming up onto either side of the eye. Perfect. All right. Now we're going to finish off with the forehead, which is resemblance of our brain. We've got the frontal lobes in through here. So I like to really focus in the neck and the shoulder area. Okay, I can even give my eyebrows a little bit of a raise. Okay, I can pull up on one side or the other, but I like to give a lot of love in this area because we've got our neck and shoulder area. We've also got our optic nerve, so it's so good for your eyes. We've actually also got our thymus and our thyroid in this area, as well as coming into areas of the hypothalamus and the pituitary. So such a huge area. Then we come up following the Penfield diagram in through our legs. So we've also got feet and knees and coming up into the hips here as well. All right. So good. Nice. And I'm going to finish off everything in a vertical direction, making sure that I get into the hairline, like right on that hairline, because that's where the Penfield diagram is as well. And we know that Penfield was a researcher, a neurologist. And so he studied the brain and the movement of the body with the brain for things like tics and for things that, any kind of nervous system issue. So it's really good to help us calm the whole entire body. So I like to follow it that way. And then I'm going to finish off the rest of my head, switching hands if you can, because if you try and do this all with one hand, you could find yourself getting a little bit tired. Of course, you can always do it a little bit less than what I'm doing. Of course, I'm just chatting along the way. And so don't feel like you have to do as much. Okay, we're really just looking for that pinky tone. And then I'm going to do some nice horizontal coverage. Whew, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel a little bit warm from this rolling. Okay, going to make sure that I get onto my eyebrows and onto that orbit bone there. You've got some nice stuff. Points for insomnia in the eyebrows and for vision. So it's going to really help. And if you haven't tried this already, this is one of my favorite, I'm obsessed, is I actually take this roller and I roll it directly over top of my eyes. If your eyes are sore, it means that you need to do this more often because you've got reflexes right in your eyes. This is your ovaries. This is your testes. This is going to help you with all the hormones in your body, because we know that the ovaries and the testes are part of the endocrine system, and they help communicate with our pituitary gland. So we want some really good love in there. It's also your kidneys, so helpful with your Jing energy. And of course, from an obsessional holistic side, is all of my dad's side of the family has droopy eyelids. So I'm working it from a droopy eyelids. I don't want droopy eyelids. So it is great for toning the skin in above your eye. Again, doesn't have to be hard, nice and soft and gentle. Who's trying this along with me? Anybody give me a thumbs up? How does this feel? We would think that it would feel weird. I typically don't do this when I'm doing it on clients unless I know them and I've done facials for them before, but it's so yummy. I'm not, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like feeling some good release here, so I'm just gonna keep going a little bit. Okay. Oh, wow. Everything looks a little bit brighter. So we've just gone through and done our first part of the horticulture. We've gone through and encouraged that deep microcirculation to come out. Now we are going to start with our mini double yin. We're pretty much doing the same routine. Okay, so we're thinking and feeling about draining and releasing. By the way, if you ever do hear a little bit of squeak in your tool, you can just add a teeny bit of oil and it will help with the squeak. Okay, we have all handmade tools, so sometimes it can happen. All right. So we're going to get onto the throat. So good to drain the throat and to get the liquids and everything out of the throat. So I go right over top, right over top. Again, making sure that I go down onto the neck and the shoulder and the trapezius area. Excellent. Okay. And don't forget the back of your neck. Excellent. Feeling good. And up into your lymph node area. All right, I'm already looking better than I was when I first got on camera here, so I'm super happy about that. This is good. Okay, now coming back into that bladder area. Okay, again, kind of going in both directions, in all directions. All right, starting in the bladder area. Then we're following up all the way to the bottom of the ear. Now, you can combine short and long strokes, but you want those short little strokes. It's going to give you the best results. Okay, so you could do a short stroke followed by a long stroke, but do make sure you get these short little strokes as you inch along the way. Okay, throw in a long stroke every now and then, whatever your artistic hands want to do. Now we're going to do a test. Okay, I want you to see how your lips feel right now. One of my first videos that I ever did was about how amazing this works on your lips. So we're going to go over top of the lips. No more plumping of the lips with injections. We can get the beautiful results just with this. Yes, exactly. Following it up to the hairline. Oh, yeah. Amazing. I haven't even rubbed my lips together. I can already feel. Okay, coming onto the cheek, up by the ear, nice and under the eye. And you know what? You are going to see that the skin tone, because we've brought up all that circulation, you're going to see that it gets more even coverage. So it's absolutely amazing how we start spreading all of that circulation through the rest of our skin. Now we're going to go crosshatch. Okay, so covering the lips, crosshatching the area, coming up underneath the eye, get some of that drainage in the eye, and all the way up. Okay, very good. About 3 times. And I think that is, we'll do one more time for good flavor. Excellent. Now the other side. Comparing the sides of my lips, they feel different. So let's make sure we even that out. Okay. Oh, yes. If they only knew how effective Chan Bote is, this is exactly true. This is exactly true. It is quite funny. I get lots of comments about my skin, and I just say, yeah, it's Chan Bote. And I even came into work one day and they're like, oh my gosh, you look really great. And I said, yeah, it's because I did Chan Bote for about 10 minutes this morning. So you know what? You can get amazing results in 10 minutes. So coming up to the hairline and onto the cheek. Love. Gives lip line a natural plum pout. Shirt certainly does. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So we're getting even coverage now. Okay. And we're going to crosshatch. So going over top like so. Beautiful. Again, we want this to look like art. Okay, we don't want it to look like a chore. We don't want it to look like, you're frantic, or, you're not going to go like this. This does not look, it doesn't look good. Okay, so we're all artists. Look, we're all artists. Okay, beautiful. Tell me how your lips feel. My lips feel super smooth and soft. All right, coming into the neck and the shoulder area. Feels good. We've got so many. You can even go in a horizontal fashion as well. Okay, coming up and then finishing off vertical, getting into the hairline, coming down into the eyebrow. Okay, still those short little strokes. And again, you don't have to have a lot of pressure. Okay, it's really just nice and gentle. All right. So a couple of other things when it comes to the yang and the yin. If you find you're a little bit more on the drier side of things, you're maybe going to do, 1 minute to start with the yang tool and 3 minutes to start with the yin tool, and really work with your timing, anywhere between 1 and 3 minutes. If you're more on the drier side to begin with, you'll probably go a little bit less with the yang and more with the yin. If you're on the more oily and wrinkly side of things, you're probably going to want to increase the amount of time you use your yang than what you do with your yin. Yeah, it's absolutely. I was like falling asleep and now I'm like ready to chatter. All right. That officially concludes our Yang-Yin protocol. Now, sometimes if I'm feeling like it, I will give myself some few extra strokes just to give a little bit of more lymphatic, and I'll pay attention to in through my vagus nerve, which runs in through here. So I'll just give some nice little calming strokes in through there, maybe down the back of the neck a little bit. Super, super obsessed with getting into that back of the neck area, right? Where C7 and T1 kind of go. Oh, helps so much with the tension in our body. Okay, beautiful. Okay, that is our Yang Yin protocol. So now we're going to move into the next part of our routine, which is going to be balancing our living points. Now, we will send this to you because it is one of my personal favorite routines, and I've numbered them for you. Okay, but this is sort of how I've broken down and why I do the routine this way. And I've kind of kept it along the idea of giving yourself a facial and why we would do it in these steps. And I have them numbered it. So yes, we just did our last session. We're after the yang, we did it with the yin. Okay, so we're going to grab out now our Comet Detector, and we're going to do this balancing of the living points. So the first thing that we want to do is we're going to work with the nervous system. So just like a cleanser, we're going to cleanse our mind by calming the brain with these 4 zone points for a sedative effect. So we first go in and calm the brain, because everything we do after that reinforces this cleansing. So then what I like to do is I like to go right to the bladder meridian point up here. So we've got 4 points here that will work to go with the nervous system. And then we're going to move into the bladder meridian, which is here, because it goes down the rest of the central nervous system. So we've got the brain, but we're going to utilize the bladder meridian to get down the rest of the central nervous system. And I hope if you tune into your body that you can start to feel the energy and the chi move down your whole entire spine. So this is going to tone the rest of the nervous system by activating the powers of our central nervous system. Then we're going to move into adding nutrients to nourish our blood. Okay, we're going to use the lungs to give us oxygen. We're going to use the large intestine to help enhance our immunity and our serotonin. And then we're going to use the small intestine and some points around the chin to help us reduce muscle tension and spread our blood, and then follow it up in through the bladder area to encourage elimination, and follow it up with our fertilizer or our moisturizer, which we use moisturizer to kind of lock in all of the nutrients from our toner and our serum. We're going to use our 0.0 to lock in this routine. So follow along with me, and we're going to talk just briefly about our Comet Detector. Okay, so we have a Comet Detector, and this is mostly a yin tool, but this side with the 3 prongs is actually just a little bit more yin than the side we have on the other side, the single side. So just from a basic standpoint, if you're doing this routine in the morning, I highly recommend that you use the single side. And if you're doing it at night, I highly recommend that you use the triple yin. Okay. Again, if your skin is a little bit more sensitive and you have more redness to your skin or whatnot, you can use the yin side all the time. And if you have kind of more dull, oily skin or sagging skin, I highly recommend you use the yang side, because that will also give you some energy differences in your facial. Okay, so this is the nighttime. I'm going to use the triple barreled side. Now, I use the press and hold technique. Okay, and the reason why is because I want to give my body time to check in with what I'm doing. And I really only want to give my body one message at a time. Okay, so I don't give myself movement during this. And it's very similar with when I'm working with clients. I want to provide static pressure when I'm using active living points, because it gives the body and the brain. So you're working with the brain, and we're going to tap into the brain and have it send messages. So when we provide a lot of stimulation, it's okay for wellness and it's okay for some things, but we want to get that deep therapeutic response. Okay. So we're going to press and hold into these zones for 3 times, for 10 to 30 seconds. Okay. So the first one that we're going to do is in the middle of our forehead and just to the outside of our eye. Now we want to have all 3 prongs on the face. I like pretty firm pressure. So I'm going to press and I get that breath. That's what we're looking for, right? Now we know that we're done. Don't worry about these little dents. They will go away, okay? So an easy way is to follow up from the corner of your eyebrow to about the middle of your forehead. And we've got about 10 seconds there. So we start 1 and 2. Don't worry about which side that you start with, okay? These 4 points together actually give us a sedative effect. Now we're going to go right, just kitty corner to our eyebrow here, making sure that we're perpendicular to the skin. Okay. If we're off on any of our angles, we're going to be off on our point. So we're using this in combination. So we've got gallbladder, we've got spleen, and we've got optic nerve. Those 3 elements and zones that we're using in this facial really help us. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the other side. My right side, which is my yang side, is feeling really good about this. Anybody feeling any spiciness? Anybody? I'd love to hear how you're feeling with this. Again, 10 to 30 seconds. That's all we're going to need. So we've done our cleanse. Now let's move up to our bladder meridian. And this is right in the hairline, right straight in the middle. Okay. So we're going to place our detector right on the hairline. Okay. If your hair is receding, okay, if your hair is receding, then you just give yourself a little bit of a raise on the eyebrow and you'll see where the skin changes. All right. Yes. You know what? We're at the end of our day, and I've seen a couple of comments now about spiciness on the right side. I don't know. I'm with you on that one. The yang side, it's been busy for the day. It's ready to take a little bit of a break. So that's why we could find that we have more tenderness on the right side of the face right now, because our yang side has been doing so much throughout the day that we want to rebalance it. And spiciness indicates to us that we need some rebalancing. So don't shy away from it. Oh, finally got my breath there. Okay. So check in, see if you can start to feel it down your spine. Okay. So that's our nervous system and our toner of the whole central nervous system. All right, so now we're going to move into the lung area. So what I like to do is I like to take my detector and put it above my nostrils. Not quite yet. We'll get to the reflex drainage next. So we're going to head right back to the video with me. I like to put my detector on the side of my nose here and then bring it straight to underneath my eye. And that will be about where the center of your lung zone is. Okay, so what you want to find here is that everybody's bony structure is going to be different. You want to find the angle that is appropriate for your face so that all prongs can be on the bony structure behind the skin. We're not necessarily pressing just the surface of the skin here. We want to get into the bony structure. So for me, my angle of my detector is a little bit lower. You're going to have to move around until you find that. Right or left doesn't particularly matter. First, I'm going to take my 3 prongs and just put it above my nostril and then come to underneath. Oof. And again, this is a nice point and zone for the lungs and for that midpoint where all the bronchi start to break off and branch off. The right side is feeling a little bit more, Okay, now we're going to come into the large intestine. So my favorite way to do this is to take my detector and put it into the middle of my lip here. And then I come straight out into my smile line. Once I get to my smile line, I'm going to give a little bit of pressure. And you want decent pressure. If you find that you're on your teeth at all, just move your lip up a little bit so that you're kind of in the crevice of your zygomatic area. Okay. It gives you a little bit better ability to press in through here. And so this is getting into the large intestine, but specifically it's a castor oil point. So it's going to be very beneficial for giving more lubrication to the body and healing into the body because it is part of the immune system too. So that's beautiful. Let's put it in the middle. Then we're going to come out to the other side. And I've come right into the smile line. Oh, yeah. Feels so good. Feels so good. Anybody having issues with this one, finding it at all? Again, just kind of move everything around until you can get into that sensation. We want to feel sensation. You know, if you read any books about reflexology, it always talks about getting in so that you feel some sensation. If we're just on the surface of the skin, we're not going to get that deep activation of the brain and the chi to move to the part of the body that we want it to, right? We want to get into that cybernetic therapy, which is what Dien Chan is all about. Excellent. Now we're going to move down to the middle of the chin. So we all have a chin line, yes? So now I'm going to make sure that I'm on the bony structure and right in the middle, okay? And so I like putting the one detector up and then the two prongs down, right? And kind of work myself into it. And I'm going to be pressing down here. Ooh, carries a little punch. Ooh, this is now because we've gone in and activated some of those parts. We do this point afterwards because it's a fire point. It's a very strong fire point. So it's going to push all of the nutrients through the blood. Now I'm just going to go right to the right of it, which is going to be a muscle relaxant point. So let's do that. So just off to the section of the middle for 10 seconds. And then we're going to follow it up with the other side. Beautiful. That's for 10 seconds. And these are muscle relaxant points. So good. They are the ankles of the red man. So they help us reduce tension all over the body, the wrists, the neck, but specifically it's called a muscle relaxant point. So muscles anywhere in the body can be used with these two ones. Then we're going to find the highest point of our chin and we're going to place it on there. And we're going to press in there for 10 to 30 seconds. And again, this is going to be about draining. So we're moving into our draining section and eliminating anything that we've brought out into the lymph and fluids so that we can eliminate. So we're all going to go and use the loo after. Now we're going to move into our fertilizer, which means that we're going to seal in the nutrients. So wherever you would use the earphones, right, your intertragic notch, you're going to take your detector and follow it onto the face. So your detector is now going to be at a side angle, okay? But I want you to rake down a little bit and find the tenderness right at that area. Doesn't matter again, left or right, you know, we're doing just a beautiful holistic facial. So let's just do them. Let's not worry too much about which side. We're going to follow it up with the other side, and we're breathing into it and thinking about and feeling all the beautiful sensations that we've just felt. I'm starting to feel calm and relaxed. So this is good because we're going to follow this up now with our reflex drainage, which is beautiful to help us eliminate anything that we want to in the body. All right. So there is our balancing of living point. The optic nerve, the question that we got, the optic nerve is in this area. So this is the living zone for the optic nerve in through here. Perfect. Thanks for asking questions. All right. So let's move to the last part of our routine. And this is going to be the reflex drainage. So we've put it in steps here. So it is based upon the manual lymphatic drainage. However, this isn't contraindicated where manual lymphatic drainage is. So issues of cancer or cellulitis or any other types of contraindications, this isn't going to be there. So first, we're going to open up in through the armpits. Then we're going to go down the back in through the lymphatics of the abdomen, and then in through the groin around our nose and nostril, and then down our legs for our lymphatics there, around the ankles, getting fluids up from those lower lymphatic node areas. And then we're going to finish off with the throat of Penfield. So we're kind of starting at the top of the body where the lymph actually enters the bloodstream, moving down our body all the way to our feet, and then coming back up and going down our jawline. So because it's the end of the day, we're going to do our 3-prong side. Go ahead, follow along with me. This will take 5 minutes. We're going to start on the left side of our face. We're going to come into the armpit area, and we're just going to go back and forth because it gives us both yin and yang energies. So we're going to do this 20 times each. Beautiful. And then we're going to go to the right side and do the other armpit. Nice and easy, back and forth. We shouldn't be, causing any issues in the skin here at all. It's always better to go faster than to go harder. Now we're going to lay our single side down, and we're going to start right in the crevice of our nose and go down to our lower back. We're not going to go over the nose, and we're not going to go above, just because we want to go nice and speedy. We want to activate the lymph in that back and abdomen area. So let's give a nice little pace in through here. So plus or minus 20 times ish. All right. And now we're going to move to our groin. So our groin is going to be in the nostril area. So I like to keep it so that the detector is closer to the face. Okay, or sorry, more on the face and not on the angle of the nose, because then I can't breathe. Okay, so we're going to go around the nose, and make sure you don't just go right here, because we want to get in through here, because that is lots of juiciness coming into helping the whole body with acidity. Okay, and that is essential for health. Okay, so we're going to go all the way around, plus or minus about 30 times. Coming in through the groin area and groin lymph. This can be an area of stagnation for so many people. All right. Okay, switching sides. Nice. Coming through. And this is probably, I would come in through here like so. Good. Okay, now we're going to hold our skin a little taut, and we're going to go up and down nice and straight. I see a lot of people kind of trying to do this little thing, but we want to have all 3 prongs on the face at the same time. Okay. All right, in through the legs. Excellent. And we're going to switch sides. Good. Other leg. All right, now we're coming into the chin area. Again, kind of where we were with the balancing the points, but we're just going to go through those 3 points here. So this is getting into those ankles, right, that I had mentioned before. So trying to keep, again, the 3 prongs on the face at all times. Nice. And that's, again, for about 20 to 30 times. All right, perfect. Now we're moving into the ears. So now I'm going to switch. I'm going to do the right ear first and then finish off with the left side, because it drains the left side. So if you want to, you can just go straight down the face like so, but we're going to switch to our single prong side, and we're going to go up the back side. Okay. I like to follow right along the back. And so I'm going to clip the top of my ear, but that's okay. It doesn't feel bad. Okay. I am looking to follow right around my ear, right along the front side of the ear. We're going to do this just a few times. I can feel my throat draining. That's nice. Good. And if you can, go to your left side with your left hand and go down
and around. If you have to, use your right hand, no problem. You can just go down on the face. We want to go down. There we go. That's the nice breath I was looking for. Good. Excellent. So that finishes our ritual and skincare routine. We've done so much healing and so much love to our whole entire body. I want you to move around and see how you feel. I want you to touch your skin. You know, I just did that toner at the beginning and I don't even feel like I need to put on moisturizer. My skin feels so good. It feels plump. It feels moist. It absolutely feels amazing. Thank you so much for letting me share with you my facial obsessions that I do. Now it would be a great time to put on your skincare. Anything that we put on afterwards is going to give you deep penetration. So I love putting on a toner at this point. Like I just spray the heck out of myself and it feels so good. It actually feels like it goes so deep into my skin. It feels amazing. And then I do, especially at night, I do a nice moisturizer, which locks it in. And I feel like I feel absolutely amazing afterwards. So that's sort of aftercare. You can definitely give your tools a nice little cleanse. Just soap and water, you guys, soap and water. And then make sure you dry your tools afterwards so that the natural materials don't crack or anything like that. TMJ in through here, this is going to be good for TMJ. Just even this whole entire routine. What I like to do for TMJ is take my triple detector and I like to move it along in through here. And I actually stop. It's kind of like if you're doing rolling of any kind in your body, but stop when you feel a spicy spot. So I apply good amount of pressure in through here. And what you'll find is that somewhere in here, which is related to the hips, you'll find tension there. So make sure you stretch out your hips while you're doing this as well. And sometimes you can even, if you open and close your jaw, where you find that it pushes out, right, where your mandible and maxilla meet, you can also find juicy spots in through there as well. Okay, so that can also help. Hi, Shelly from Edmonton. Yay. Okay, so that's sort of how I work with TMJ, but yes, it is very much so related to the hips. So you can use the big hammer. The big hammer is going to be your best tool to work with TMJ because you can use it with the yin side and it will get deep into the hips, allowing you to release the tension in your jaw. So that's what I highly recommend. So yes, put on your moisturizer, put on your nutrients now. After you've done this on a clean, dry skin, give your tools a nice little cleanse. Make sure that they're dry. And you're good to go. You can do this morning and night, definitely. You can do it shorter time. You know, you don't have to do this full amount of time, but even just doing a little bit, right? So sometimes I'm just doing it really super quick, all over. Then I just do my 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You know, I'm doing it all, but just in miniature time. You can definitely do that. And you're done in basically 10 minutes, or you can extend it as well. So this can be sort of as short or as long as you want it to be. All right. Beautiful. Any other questions at all? I'm so glad that you all joined me to learn about the Chanbote Essentials Kit. They're one of their, if I could put any kit together, aside from the starter kit, I do love the starter kit, but the Chanbote Essentials Kit is, oh, it's my favorite. All right. Thank you for everybody who joined me, and I look forward to our next event.